At the end of the day, does it matter? We could be born to be many things in our lives, but in order for us to be great, there has to be development.
Welcome to the Networking with Michelle podcast, the show dedicated on providing you the how-tos of marketing and networking strategies. Here we believe in the Jim Rohn quote, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Hey, good people. Welcome back to the Networking with Michelle show. I'm your host, Michelle Gomez. Hope your week is going well. Hope your Wednesday is going well. And if you follow me on Facebook, a couple of weeks ago, I posted a message and it says, gratitude carries you. Gratitude carries you. And maybe things are not going well this week, or maybe things aren't going well today, this morning. And I just wanted to share that message with you. Take a moment, breathe, reflect, and think about all the good things that are going for you in life, right? Think about all the things that you have, the things that could have gone wrong, but you're able to, pass through them, and be happy for that moment. Gratitude carries you, and I truly believe that. And maybe someone needed this word of encouragement. So this is for you. Okay. Gratitude carries you. Also, we're approaching today is episode 95. So we're approaching episode 100. And wow, it's just, can't believe it. Cannot believe it. But hey, I want to do something. I got something special lined up, but I want to do something else. I'm really trying to think about, I want to do a giveaway, but if you have any ideas, I may just let me know, because I want to do something special for you, the listeners. So I'm trying to put something together, so be on the lookout for that. Okay. Hey, today's special guest, we have Dr. Tracy Powell. She is the author of Practical Leadership, Lessons Learned from Mickey, as in Mickey Mouse. And I definitely believe everything happens for a reason. And I met her online through a Facebook group, Traffic, Sales, and Profit with Lamar Tyler. Had him on the show a while back. And Dr. Powell and I, we just talked. We just old friends. We just talked. And just grateful to initiate that contact with her, and she's an absolute doll. Some of the things we talk about in this episode is the importance of the work-play balance, or the work-play balance, as well as, what are those lessons that we have, those lessons in leadership that we have learned from Mickey Mouse, right? Most of us have grown up on watching Mickey Mouse, and we're just staying in the cartoon character and having a good time, but there was lessons in there that we learned at a young age that has carried us through, and she does a great job explaining and breaking that down for us. And of course, I ask her probably one of the most popular questions of all time: are leaders born or developed? And I felt like she had the most simple, interesting, and compelling answer. And I hope you stay tuned and hear her out on that. Very, very simple and profound. I loved it. Hey everyone, look, this episode is brought to you by Line 25 Consulting, empowering entrepreneurs to develop their personal brand by leveraging relationships and expertise. Be sure to check out Line 25 Consulting. That's line number 25consulting.com. Dr. Tracy Powell. Hey everyone, today I have Dr. Tracy Powell as our special guest. Dr. Tracy, how are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you. And yourself?
Good. Thank you so much for being the show. You have a brand new book out, Practical Leadership.
Yes, I do. I released my book, Practical Leadership Lessons Learned from Mickey, in November. This is my first publication. I'm very excited about it. Thus far, it's doing well, and I'm glad to be here to speak to you in more detail about the book as well as the business.
Oh, yes. So, Practical Leadership Lessons Learned from Mickey, as in Mickey Mouse?
As in Mickey Mouse, the one and only Mickey Mouse. Yes.
All right. So before we get to that, before we get to the details behind your book, why don't you just go ahead and tell us about yourself and your company?
Okay. I'm a native of South Carolina. I've lived there all of my life. I currently live in Atlanta. I started this company really in 2004, and I just stumbled across the concept in really working with individuals and organizations. A lot of nonprofits were getting started. They would ask me, what do you think about this concept? I want to build this business. And they really didn't have the foundation or the capacity at the time to move forward. So I found myself in a number of situations at the time where I'm working with them, building these concepts, building ideas to really launch these great nonprofit organizations to build our communities and to help those who are underserved. But in addition to that, there was another component where they wanted to build themselves as individuals. So I began to work with them on the individual as well as the organizational level to meet whatever desired goals they had at the time. And that's how Synergetic Solutions was born.
Awesome. Yeah, what I've realized, I mean, this question always comes up for anyone in the hot seat, right? It's like, how do you balance work and life? And I feel like we're at this point, even at my young age, it's like there is no balance. It's more, you have to work on them both at the same time. And then there's going to be times where I think it's seasons. And, like as one author to another, there's that season where you just got to promote your book. Like, okay, for the next 3 months, 6 months, full steam
Yes.
ahead on the book. Hey, babe, just
Wait a minute.
hold tight.
Exactly.
So you help people and companies, I guess work on both at the same time, their personal and professional development.
Yes, I do. In both, you have to find a balance. And that's what I tell all of my clients. What is that balance? How does that look? Because what I found within myself and working with organizations is if you don't have that peace within, if you don't have that balance, if you don't have that play as well as work, something is going to go lacking. And then the product is not going to be as great as it could be. So I help them, yes, we're going to work hard for 4 hours today, but after that 4 hours, catch a movie, go for a walk, do something to really bring you back to that place of wholeness.
What I've learned as a new entrepreneur, not just for myself, but even my friends, like those first 2-3 years, like I come from corporate America where there's a lot of structure. You clock in at 9:30, have lunch around 1 or 2, you're off at 5:30, and go to the gym, networking event, sleep, do it all again. And what I realized with entrepreneurship, I can easily sit on the couch for 12 hours trying to put some type of business together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been there. Yes.
And that structure is all out the window. And you're like, play? What? I don't have time to play.
I know.
Trying to put a business together. And I definitely found it easier to play when I was in corporate. So like, how much of that is mindset versus activity?
A lot of it is mindset. A lot of it is what we're grown and we're developed to say, work hard every day, and you retire, and then you can relax. But I think what people fail to realize is you have to first get to retirement in a healthy state of mind and with a healthy body. And in order to do that, you have to incorporate play into your schedule. You have to do it. It's a must. And I push that. And when I'm working with the organization, that's a part of their packet. We're going to build this organization. Research has shown us that most nonprofits fail within 3 to 5 years. Most of them don't make it out of the first year. But I find that those who integrate play, integrate family time, integrate time with their staff and their employees, they're more likely to be successful because they decrease their stress level. And when your stress level is decreased, you can think clearly. Those ideas and concepts and innovative things, they come quicker and the vision is clear and you can move forward with that.
So I want to focus on your book and the leadership component. First, how do you define leadership?
Oh, wow. If you go to Webster, leaders say, they're just groups of people and organizations. They're action focused and they're moving forward. I define leadership, I think it's an action. I believe that in order for leadership to manifest, there has to be some form of action from the individual or the organization. But leadership and leaders are defined to me as anyone, regardless of their background, regardless of what they're trying to do, anyone that have goals in mind they're trying to obtain. I feel like society has taught us that leaders are the Fortune 500 presidents, they're the mega company runners, they're the CEOs, they're the directors, they're the president, but they're not. They are everyday people. Leaders are those with goals. They're trying to make a change. Leaders are in our families. If you think about the household, the family, the parents, whether it's a two parents or a single parent, there's a leader there moving forward because that family has defined a goal. So going back to leadership, it is that person, that individual that's willing to take action to make changes to meet their desired goals and missions.
Oh, I love it. Now, I grew up on Mickey Mouse. That was a long time ago. So, how is Mickey the ideal leader?
Mickey Mouse, as you and I and millions of other people grew up on Mickey Mouse, and we saw it in front of the TV and we watched our lovely Mickey and Minnie in their dynamic relationship. But what we did not realize as we watched Mickey is we were learning behaviors from Mickey. And if as we get older and you go back and just watch some of those clips, and in my book, Practical Leadership, I point out some of the clips. Mickey Mouse taught us how to socialize, how to respond to things, how to interact with our friends and family. And he taught us this in a place of unconsciousness and in a non threatening manner. So, as I talk about leadership and practical leadership, I wanted to use a concept that was non threatening, but one that would be uh, an opportunity for the reader to be open to the concepts I was bringing forward. Because in the book, I talk about some deep things about taking risks, delegation, really looking within yourself and seeing how you lead and how you run your families and your organization. And if you're threatened, if you feel like you're being put upon, you're not going to be as open to the message that I'm trying to give you to receive. So I had to find someone that we all trusted, we all like, and we all love, which is Mickey Mouse, to really open that door for me to reach the audience I'm looking to reach.
Yes, can you please run through some of those traits again?
Yes, a few traits from the book is a bravery. I talk about taking risks, standing up for those things that you believe in. Fear, overcoming the fears that we have. Sometimes our fears are conscious, but a lot of times they're unconscious. And really looking inside and asking what fears are driving you to make the decisions you are, whether they're good or bad. Um, for forgetfulness, and this is one that's funny. If you've ever you're from corporate America, so you've had that supervisor that promises you one thing in the morning, and by 12 o'clock they forgot and they made that promise that you could leave early. How to deal with that. Where does that even come from? Really exploring that. Communication is a big one because whether it's verbal or nonverbal communication, it is communication. And we have to really step back and ask ourselves, what is being communicated? What am I communicating? And how does that impact me and impact my actions? I speak in detail in the book, Practical Leadership, about a couple of more: delegation, motivation, having a positive attitude, being confident in yourself. And lastly, just knowing who you are as an individual, knowing what works for you, setting your own goals, and doing whatever you have to do to obtain your desired goals.
Yeah. I think what I like the most is how you mentioned forgetfulness, maybe because I felt guilty and I was like, hey, I need to work on this. But I read a lot of business and leadership books, and I don't think this has ever come up. And I was like, okay, Michelle, do you really forget, or are you overwhelmed and then it's delayed? And I think it's a combination of
It's
both.
selective. Sometimes it's selective forgetfulness. We know we should check that email or respond, but we selectively forget. And we have to be honest with ourselves, and it's hilarious when you really read, and I give examples about how people do these things, and you could be in your personal life or in the office and you see that person walk by and you can say, oh, that's selective forgetfulness. You didn't really forget, but you chose to act as if it doesn't exist. But that's the world we live in. But how do you deal with that? Do you hold grudges? Do you get angry? Do you respond? And why does that upset you? Why does that take you to a place where you may respond in a way that's inappropriate? You have to ask yourself those questions in order to overcome that.
Now, do you think there's a certain way we should address that, obviously communicate when we are held accountable, when we do have someone call us out like, hey, you said you were going to do this and that was 2 days ago.
Own it.
Own it.
That's the best thing you can do. I apologize. That was on my task list. Unfortunately, I did not get to it. My apologies. I'll do my best to prioritize it and get it to the top of the list. I think people respond well when we're honest with them. If you forgot, you just forgot. But I think what really upsets individuals is when we are dismissive. We get an attitude, our response is negative. No, if you ask me to do something and I didn't do it, whether it was selective or not, when you come and approach me, I have to be able to say, I own that. I apologize. I'll work on that. That's all it takes. And you will find that conversation will go better because people don't expect you to do that in this day and world. They come expecting confrontation. And confrontation most times are unnecessary. Just own it and move on.
That's a good point. I had someone send me an email not too long ago, and they were calling me out. They were trying to give me a pep talk. And I really don't lose sleep. And I was losing sleep that night. And I responded, and I was just like, you're right. Just that simple. I wasn't gonna defend myself or make excuses and talk crazy and all this, and it could have been valid crazy, but I was just like, hey, you're right.
And you felt better.
I did. I felt better. And then at the same time, I also felt that if I was to provide all of these valid reasons and excuses that fill my day to day, whatever was going on that week, I kind of felt like that would have put more gasoline to the fire.
Exactly. That's where that confrontation comes in.
And I was like, I don't want this person to run around and say, da 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 da. I tried talking to her, but she took it this way. It was just, you're right. And I just leave it at that.
Yep. And you feel better about that person feels like, okay, I can work with her. She responded, she owned it, and you can mend that relationship. And it's all about mending relationships. No one wants to walk around at odds with anyone else. People portray that, but internally it's a struggle. And it's not a good place to be. So I commend you for owning that. Great job.
Thank you. Delegation. Now, teamwork. A leader can a leader lead without a team?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Whether they are a well-defined team, an official team, or unofficial team, we cannot do anything in this world alone. That's the same for living every day. That's the same for driving our vehicles, waking up in the morning, or writing these books. Yes, we may have sat down and wrote every piece of word on the paper, but throughout this process, we had a team. We had someone to guide us, someone to encourage us, someone to proofread our books, someone to publish it. So people say, I can go it alone. And even in the Mickey Mouse clips, and I talked about that in Practical Leadership, there's a series where Mickey is saying, I'm going to do this by myself. And it turned out to be a disaster because he could not meet his goals that he set out to do that day by himself. He needed Mickey and Minnie and all of his friends to assist him. And at the end, he realized that. But what it takes to lead a team is proper delegation. And I speak about that in the book. In order to be a leader of a team, you have to lead with a vision, but you have to be able to have a shared vision, share that with those that are around you, and delegate things to them. And I talk a little bit about why people don't delegate, why they try to hold all of the work for themselves to do. And that goes back to trust and fear. That's the core of lack of delegation.
Do you believe that people, I guess other people, not the leader, need to believe in that vision before we can officially bring them onto the team, especially if it's a small business and you're paying people?
Absolutely. They have to not only believe in it, They have to feel that they are a part of it. Because I can believe in a lot of things. I can believe that this organization make great cookies. I can believe that, ice cream is great. I'm getting to my sweet tooth here. But for me to feel like I'm a part of it, that's a different story. And a lot of people believe in visions, but they don't feel as if they're a part of these organizations. And that's up to the leader to bring them in as partners. They don't have to be paid partners or board members, but they have to have some type of interest, and they have to feel that they're a part of the successes, the failures, the redos, and the whole process. And it takes great leadership to do that.
Now, I know I wanted to run through these traits specifically because it goes to the old question we hear time and time again. Are leaders born or developed?
That is a question people always ask. And I'm going to give you my simple answer first, and then I would explain. Does it really matter?
It's probably the most honest answer I've ever heard.
Yes. At the end of the day, does it matter? We could be born to be many things in our lives, but in order for us to be great, there has to be development. You could be born in a family of NFL players, but you cannot walk out on that field at 18 and be a great player. There has to be development.
I love it. Yeah.
So that's why I asked the question, does it matter? Because in reality, what we are at birth does not matter. It's where we are when we end this journey called life that matters. And whether we do anything or not, we're going to be developed in this world, whether we want to or not. They're called trials and tribulations. They're called opportunities. They're called failures. They all develop us. And that's what's important to realize. So I encourage people, and they come to me and they say, well, Dr. Powell, I wasn't born a leader. I said, says who? Well, I don't have this trait and I don't have that trait. Those things can be developed. Find your niche. Do what you love. Do what you believe in. Do what makes you proud. And you will be a great leader. Set your own goals.
Let me ask you this. Based off of, questions that people ask you that you just mentioned, how much of it is someone needing that right opportunity to even show their leadership ability?
I think a lot of it is that. But Michelle, you and I know as entrepreneurs, people are not going to just always give you an opportunity. Sometimes you have to make those opportunities for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can be in the right place at the right time. But if you sit silently, you could be born a leader. You're still not going to get the opportunity. You have to step out. You have to do something. You have to take an action. And that's what a lot of people fail to realize. They would think, well, I'm a great writer. I'm a great website developer. But if you don't put yourself out there, no one is going to know that. You have to create opportunities that are needed to fulfill your goals and your vision for your life. And it takes work. It takes dedication. It takes vision. It takes development, but it's possible and it's doable.
Now, in 2015, I spent a great amount of money. I mean, one, I'm already addicted to Amazon, so I'm always buying books, right? But I spent a great amount of money on courses, going to conferences. Like, how much time and money should we invest in developing ourselves personally and professionally? And I know this can't be a specific dollar amount, but how important is it on continuously developing ourselves?
I think there is no limit. I think it depends on what that individual need at their time. I believe that we all should be readers. We all should be willing to be trained. We all should be willing to train others. I'm always taking classes. I read more self-help books, I think, is published every year because I want to learn about myself. I want to learn new things. And I think it depends on the individual. Never stop educating yourself, whether it's through an institution, whether it's through your faith community. Always be willing and open to learning something new because this world is changing. New things are developing every day. And if you're not with it, you're going to be left behind.
Definitely. Wow. All right, so Dr. Powell, as we wrap up here, one, I want to acknowledge you. First of all, we met in the Traffic Sales and Profit Facebook group, y'all. So we're doing the social networking here, and for just putting yourself out here. Congratulations on your first book, a new book. I know many more are to come.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for reaching out to me on the Facebook and really offering to assist and interview me for your podcast. I'm very excited about the book, Practical Leadership Lessons Learned from Mickey. It is available on Amazon.com. I also have an ebook and my website if anyone is interested in booking sessions with me or learning more about the book for book clubs. You can send me a request on my website, practicalleadership4u.com.
Yeah. And I want to encourage everyone to pick up this book, Practical Leadership. It is a very concise read, right? So it's one of those books where, whether it's the physical book or the Kindle version, you can really, what I love about the book, it's a good reference book, right? So if you feel like it's in the middle of the day and you're stuck, or maybe you're preparing for this meeting and you don't know what to do, this is the book you can go to, table of contents, page 20, click on it, get what you need to know about communication, get what you need to know about delegation, and continue, have a successful meeting or continue on with your day. It's 81 pages, easy read, very concise. So I encourage everyone to pick up this book, Practical Leadership, Lessons Learned from Mickey. And the final question, Dr. Powell, how do you define success?
I think success is defined with simply meeting that goal for yourself. And whatever that is for you for today or the next day is success. If you wake up in the morning and take a walk, if that's success for you, you are a successful person.
I love it. Simply meeting that goal for yourself.
Yes.
Hey everyone, once again, thank you for tuning in to Networking with Michelle. I want to encourage you to visit Dr. Powell's website, practicalleadership4u.com. And as always, I believe in you. Personal connection leads to an influential network. So thanks for networking with Michelle.